Hello everyone, myself Sivans and I'm here to present the topic of clinical testing for nutraceuticals and health food. And the table of content of this presentation is basic laws for clinical testing of nutraceuticals and health food, steps for preclinical test, steps for clinical test, human body effect on clinical testing, single body placebo test, double blind placebo test, Indian laws by ICMR, Indian Council of Medical Research, and a case study is included in the contents of this PPT. So let's begin with the first topic, which is introduction. So first we try to understand what is a nutraceutical. Nutraceutical is a substance that is food or part of food that provides medicinal or health benefits, including prevention and treatment of disease. Next, we try to understand about the health foods. The health foods or healthy foods is a food marketed to provide human health effects beyond a normal healthy diet required for human nutrition. Now, foods marketed as health food may be part of one or more categories such as natural food, organic food, whole food, vegetarian food, or dietary supplements. Now, understand the term of clinical testing is a type of a research study that tests how well new medicinal approaches work in people. These studies test new methods of screening, prevention, diagnosis, or treatment of disease. It is also called as clinical study. So this is the introduction part of the slide, which where we included about the nutraceutical, healthy foods, and what is the clinical testing. Now we try to understand about the basic laws for clinical testing of nutraceutical and health food. Now, the basic laws includes we try to understand a nutraceutical is a food or food-related component that intended for health benefits, even in treatment and prevention of ailments. So, a nutraceutical is a food or food-related component जिसका एक intended use health benefits and treatment of the prevention of ailments के लिए है. Now, nutraceuticals are considered as food by FSS Act of 2006, Rules and Regulations 2011. ठीक है. Now, the Food Safety and Standard Authority of India has issued regulation with respect to licensing and registration of food business, manufacturing, packaging, and labeling food product standards. In FSS, in India, FSSAI has defined regulatory guidelines for approval of nutraceutical in the Indian market. This act consists of 21 chapters, and in that the fourth article, that means 22 of the act, says about nutraceutical dietary supplements and various functional foods, and these products can be produced or manufactured and marketed. In the Nutraceutical Regulation 2016, under the general requirements, the FSSAI has stated that mere combination of vitamins and minerals formulated in tablets, capsules, syrup formats shall not be covered in any of the categories of these regulations except when vitamins and minerals are added. Now, nutraceutical cell content. Now we are talking about the schedules, which have mentioned about the laws. The nutraceutical cell contain any of these ingredients specified in Food Act schedule. There's 8 schedules. Actually, Schedule 1, Schedule 2, Schedule 4, Schedule 6, Schedule 7, and Schedule 8. The Schedule 1 says about vitamins and minerals. The Schedule 2 say about essential amino acids and other nutrients. Schedule 4 is the list of plants and botanical ingredients. Schedule 6 is list of ingredients as nutraceutical. Schedule 7 is list of strains as probiotics, and Schedule 8 is the list of prebiotic components. Okay, so points to remember here is that no ingredient other than those specified in Schedule 4 shall be used as nutraceutical with the standardization to marker compound specified and at daily usage level specified therein. So it says that whatever mentioned in Schedule 4, it should be used as a standardization to marker compound specified at a daily usage level specified there is. Only nutraceutical or extract of ingredients specified in Schedule 4 can be used as nutraceutical. Ingredients of plant or botanical origin specified in Schedule 4 and Schedule 6 may be used either in the given form or their extract, subject to the extractive ratios in the relation to the daily usage value. The FSSAI issued notice on December 31st, 2018 that disallowed the use of several ingredients in the nutraceutical food. So, on the 31st of 2018, FSSAI released a notice and it disallowed some ingredients. The third notification on the subject of nutraceutical food regulation noted the following. These ingredients are no longer in use, allowing the use of the ingredient vitamin D3 from lichen as a vegetable source in the product listed under nutraceutical regulation until the time the proposed amendments on nutraceutical regulations are finalized and notified. Subject to compliance, mustard powder will continue to be used as an ingredient in products covered under the nutraceutical regulation. Allow food business operators to sell existing formulations with simple combinations of vitamins and minerals only up to on one recommended dietary allowances in dosage form such as tablets, capsules, and syrups. Don'ts. So don'ts FSSAI has directed nutraceutical regulation to stop using 14 ingredients lacking specific data for safe uses. The country's apex food regulator ordered FBOs to discontinue the use of raspberry. So raspberry will not be used anymore. Ketone, silica, Angelica sinensis, Pollyanna cupana, saw palmetto, noto ginseng, chlorella growth factor, pine bark extracted to pinus radiate, pine bark extracted from pinus pinister, vitamin D3 wedge, chaga extract, oxalobacter formogenesis, phytovalerion, and tree tea oil. These are the uh, these are the ingredients, or these are the ingredients which are don't have specific scientific data for safe usage, and FSCCI has directed that these ingredients should not be no longer in use. Now, FBO were also asked to discontinue anti-choke, kale powder, Salvia hispanica, cashew fruit, passion fruit, kiwi fruit extracts, broccoli, and enzymes including pectinase and xylanase as health supplements. Now, once we make a nutraceutical product, we label that product, and these are the guidelines for labeling of that product. Okay, so the labeling of the nutraceutical product should mention nutraceutical recommended. Usage warning for the risk of excess consumption should be mentioned in that labeling, that you should not consume more than that. Then the prohibition on labeling claims must mention for nutraceutical product. Cure of disease claims must mention there. For example, of disease claim prevents bone fragility in postmenopausal women, implied cures for disease claims through pictures and vignettes or symbols. So these are the things must be included in it. It should have uh, claims through pictures, vignettes or symbols. Also, it should have a warning of the risk of excess consumption. What is the level of the excess consumption? You should not do more than that. And also, disease claims should be mentioned there. All these things are mentioned there. Prohibition on labeling claims must mention for the nutraceutical product cure of disease claims. Now, steps for preclinical test. So there are certain steps for preclinical test, which includes 5 steps basically. And identify a drug target, develop a bioassay, screen the drug in the assay, and establish effective and toxic doses. Establish both doses, effective and toxic doses. Then file for approval as an investigational new drug. So you have to identify a drug target, then you have to develop a bioassay, then screen the drug in the assay, then you develop effective and a toxic dose of that product, and then you file investigational new drug. You file for approval as an investigational new drug. These are the steps for preclinical test. Now, steps for clinical test. Checking for safety. If you have 20 to 100 volunteers, and that's for checking for safety. Then checking for efficiency, you need 100 to 500 patients and analyze effectiveness of the drug. Then confirm results is 1000 to 5000 patients. Drug safety approval under current medical parameters. The drug deployment for patients is safety surveillance, monitoring real life patients. So these are the four steps for clinical test: checking for safety, checking for efficiency, confirm results, and drug deployment for patient. And for everything you need particular volunteers, particular number of patients for it. And for the next thing is the human body effect on clinical testing: phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, and phase 4. These are the 4 phases of human body effect on clinical testing. Now if you see each phases individually, human body effect on clinical testing. These are the mentioned phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, and phase 4. In the phase 1, evaluate safety, determine safe doses, identify side effects. These are the phase 1 thing. Now evaluate safety, determine safe doses, identify side effects. In the phase 2, test effectiveness, further evaluate safety. In the phase 3, confirm effectiveness, monitor side effects, compare to other treatments, and collect information. In the phase 4, provide additional information after approval, including risk, benefits, and use. These are the 4 phases of the human body effect on clinical testing, and in each phase, we do certain things for the human body effect on clinical testing. This is the next slide, which tells about the single blind placebo test. In the single blind placebo test, what we do, it's a type of a clinical trial in which only the researcher doing the study knows which treatment or intervention the participant is receiving until the trial is over. So only the researchers knows that what is the treatment that the participant is receiving. A single blind study makes result of the study less likely to be biased. This means that the results are likely to be affected by factors that are not related to the treatment or the interventions being tested. Now, only the researchers know. So these are the 2 points. Only the researchers know who is in control and experimental group, and participants are unaware in which the group there are. Okay. In the double-blind placebo test, things are quite different. In the double-blind placebo test, in this experiment, one group of subject receives the real thing, the active test being tested. The other half receives a placebo designed to appear as much as possible like the real thing. Individuals in both groups don't know whether they are getting the real treatment or a placebo. Now, a clinical trial in which the medical staff, the participating patient, and the people who analyze the result don't know if the patient is receiving the investigational drug or the alternate treatment until after the study is over. Now, let's talk about the Indian laws by ICMR, Indian Council of Medical Research, which is an apex body in India. The introduction is that apex body to formulate, conduct, coordinate, and promote biomedical research. It is an apex body which formulate first thing, then conduct and coordinate and promote the biomedical research. It is founded in 1911, known as Indian Research. Now further it was renamed as ICMR in 1949. The governing body of council is presided by the Union Health Minister. So the main minister which is in power in this is the Union Health Minister. It is assisted by the Scientific Advisory Board that comprise of experts in different biomedical discipline. So it's kind of like FSSI. The Union Health Minister is in head, and it has Scientific Advisory Board which going to give the advisory to for the new product, for the new conduction of the product, formulation of the product, and the Union Health Minister will pass the final thing. Now, ICMR promotes biomedical research in the country through intramural research through its own institutes and centers, and extramural research through grants in aid given to projects in a non-ICMR institute. So there's two kind of institute that ICMR promote. One through its own institutes or center, and other one is through grants in aid given to the projects in a non-ICMR institute. ICMR 26 national institutes addresses themselves to research on specific health topics like tuberculosis, leprosy, cholera, and diarrheal diseases. So ICMR 26 national institutes address themselves to research on specific health topics like tuberculosis, leprosy, cholera, and diarrheal diseases. Now, ethical guidelines of ICMR. The ethical guidelines of ICMR, ethical guidelines for biomedical research on human participants, executing research policy, guidelines for good clinical laboratory practices, national guidelines for accreditation, supervision, and regulation of the art clinics in India, cancer management guidelines, and guidelines for the stem cell research and therapy. This is the procedure which includes filling an application, unique application number you will get, then you require additional information on incomplete application, inspection of the premises after receiving complete application, and issue inspection report. Either grant or reject the license within 60 days of the recipient of completed application, or within 30 days of inspection. If the report is not processed, FBO may start business after 60 days, and but it has to do fresh application. And cancellation process include improvement notice, no improvement, suspension, no improvement, and cancellation. And if you go through that, then you have to apply fresh application after 90 days. So this is the process. You apply, then you get application number unique, then you require additional information to incomplete application, then you might get a inspection of premises. After receiving complete application, the inspection will be done and issues the inspection report, and you get either grant or reject the license within 60 days of the recipient of the completed application or within 30 days of the inspection. Then if the report is not processed, you can apply again fresh application after 90 days. If the cancellation happens, you can apply again fresh application after 90 days. And this is the procedure for the application. Now the case study is there. The case study is published in the International Research Journal of Pharmacy. The topic of the case study is the nutraceutical importance and advances in medicine and health. So, what is the nutraceutical importance and advances in medicine and health? I have written the summary here. The nutraceutical industry is growing at a rate far exceeding expansion in the food and the pharmaceutical industries. In tomorrow's market, the most successful nutraceutical players are likely to be those companies in which the functional product are just as part of the broad line of goods satisfying both conventional and health value point. Future demand of nutraceutical depends on the consumer perception of the relationship between the diet and disease. The conclusion of the PPT is the nutraceutical market has shown steady increase in the last decade. The import, manufacturing, and marketing regulations for nutraceuticals in India have been streamlined with the updation of the FSSAI regulation 2006. The RDAs are the collection of the values to express a person's nutrient need based on their life stage and gender. So RDA भी आ चुका है. The RDA recommendation for the Indian population have been provided by the ICMR on the basis of the scientific studies and subsequent data generated. So thank you for conclusion, and these are the references, and thank you everyone.